متابعينا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. شهادات ضحايا ابستين من الفتيات، فيديوهات كثيرة تنتشر على وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي لأشخاص يتكلمون ويقولون أنهم ضحايا جزيرة ابستين. الرقم الرسمي الذي أفرجت عنه وزارة العدل الأمريكية قالت هناك أكثر من 1000 ضحية موثقة بالاسم والرقم وكل شيء. 200 منهم تمت تسوية قضاياهم، حصلوا على تعويضات، وهناك 800 آخرين ما زالت الدعاوي القضائية ترفع على ابستين. هذه الأرقام المعروفة والمسجلة رسميا، ولكن هناك الآلاف ممن ليس لديهم وثائق، ليس لديهم سجلات، وخاصة أنهم تم جلبهم من دول أخرى. تقول الوثائق الرسمية بعضهم من أمريكا تم جلبهم وهم فتيات من مدارس الثانوية، وبعضهم من دول حول العالم. طيب لماذا يسجلون فيديوهات ويظهرون هؤلاء الضحايا؟ أولا يقولون، سنشاهد ذلك في الفيديوهات يا أخوان، أولا يريدون الحصول على تعويضات مالية، يرفعون القضايا ضد ابستين بأنه فعل ما فعل معهم داخل الجزيرة بهدف الحصول على أموال. هناك أموال طائلة يملكها ابستين، ولذلك يريدون الحصول على تعويضات، على أموال. الهدف الثاني يقولون نريد الكشف عن بقية شبكة ابستين. هناك ابستين تم إلقاء القبض عليه، ولكن كان له أكثر من 1000 مساعد. هناك 1000 ابستين آخر ما زال حر طليق لم يكشفوا عنهم إلى هذه اللحظات. هل ابستين لوحده كان يدير هذه الجزيرة؟ طبعا لا، كان هناك آلاف الأشخاص الذين يساعدونه، الذين يبحثون له عن فتيات، عن صغار من بقية دول العالم. إذن هناك 1000 ابستين ما زال مجهول الهوية وهو حر طليق. الضحايا يرفعون الدعاوي للكشف عن من هم أصدقاء ابستين، من هم الذين ساعدوه، ولكن هناك أسماء كثيرة الضحايا يقولون أنهم يعرفونهم بالاسم وسيكشفون أسماءهم عما قريب.
Or will you finally protect survivors? And also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
I don't believe he committed suicide. I spent time with Jeffrey, and he's an egotistical maniac.
Haley Robson is one of the women recruited by Jeffrey Epstein. She was 16 years old, a high school student at the time, when she first met the man who would be accused.
It was a room inside of his master bedroom, and there was a steam shower, a steam room, and he came out in a towel. I ended up in my underwear.
How did you end up in your underwear? Did he ask you to take your clothes off?
Yes. He asked me to take off my skirt.
Haley said Epstein made her a proposition.
He just looked at me and said, well, you can bring me your friends, and for every friend that you bring me, I will compensate you.
So he was going to pay you to bring other young girls?
Correct.
How much?
200.
Per girl?
Per girl.
Haley agreed, and for 2 years she recruited girls like herself for Epstein.
I think at the moment it was an act of me trying to just survive and get out of the situation because I didn't know what to expect next. I think I brought around 8 to 10 girls, but I brought them to his house more than one time.
She doesn't believe Epstein, who was found dead in his New York jail cell in 2019.
I don't think he's the type of person that's capable of doing something like that, because he does think of himself so highly and that he can just buy his way out of things.
أيضا هنا يا أخوان ضحية أخرى تقول
of Jeffrey Epstein. The reason you don't see me in the news is because I am a real victim. Real victims are not being represented by attorneys or in the media. I was a student at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. in 2002. I answered an ad in the city paper. The ad was ambiguous. Deborah was professional. I thought I was going on a real job interview. Instead, I was by Paul Hung. I tried to tell Deborah what happened, but something she said made me realize she knew what happened. At that point, they had my driver's license, and I did not know what to do or where to go for help. At that point, I was driven by Jonathan Luna to the Bethesda Marriott on Pooks Hill, where Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Windsor. I have tried to get help. I called the police. I was for 2 weeks. I was moved from Washington, D.C. by Ed Norris, who was the superintendent of the Maryland State Police. He is now an actor on the show The Wire and has a radio show. My name is Jessica Collins. If anything happens to me, it's because this information is true, and I have a lot more people who are in the White House today. If you could redistribute this video, please save it and redistribute it. My car was disabled by a government employee when the Jeffrey Epstein news broke. I have been without a vehicle for 40 days. I don't know what else to say. Please save this video. Please redistribute it unless we, the American people, do the work. The government is involved, and I was trafficked for 17 years.
طيب نستمع إلى هذه الثانية.
Dear Starmer, my name is Anushka DeGiorgio, and I'm a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and a British citizen. At the dismissal hearing of Jeffrey Epstein's charges, my statement was, I am every girl this happened to, and every one of them is me. I now extend that to the survivors of Al-Fayed and Harrods. Their suffering, their fight for recognition, and their fight for justice are part of the same story of systematic failure to protect the vulnerable from the powerful. You say about Epstein survivors that we had accountability denied and too often delayed. And yes, that's exactly what your government has done to the Al-Fayed. So no, I don't accept your apology, which I believe you are using only to portray yourself in a better light. Unless you open an investigation right now into trafficking by the rich and powerful, in this case, like the French have, this scandal is going to blow up on you personally.
إن شاء الله يا رب كنت وضحت لكم حلقتنا بشكل كامل. كان معكم مراد جمال، وأراكم إن شاء الله في حلقة أخرى.